Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, apparently Rob McCracken is soon to reunite with Anthony Joshua. Well, at this point I would imagine he already has. He said that they are close to getting back working with AJ, him and his team. Obviously, he has been in Tokyo with Team GB, working with the boxing. So there has been a period of time where he has been absent from AJ's training camp as he prepares for Oleksandr Usyk, but Rob McCracken reassured fans that AJ is on point, he's on track, he's where he needs to be in his prep for this Usyk fight. Now, he did touch on sparring partners. That was one thing he did emphasize. He said that they need to make sure they get the right sparring partners, and that will be very important going forward for this contest. They also have 7 weeks left to get ready for 36 minutes in the fight. So he is kind of alluding to the fact that they still have plenty of time to prepare for this one. And that is plenty of time. That is part of the reason this fight was moved to September 25th instead of kind of rushing into it in July or August, which wouldn't have been a good move. This is the right move to make. And you can see how Rob McCracken understands what is in front of AJ, because you can see he is not going to start looking beyond Oleksandr Usyk. If he was, then they would have done the fight earlier. If he was, then he wouldn't be so eager to get the right sparring partners, because it's never easy for someone to prepare for a southpaw, so sparring partners need to be found. That was one thing that did make them struggle in the build-up to the first Ruiz fight, was finding sparring partners that could emulate his style, because there are very few heavyweights who are that height, have the reach that Ruiz does, are fast but are extremely heavy as well, and with the punch durability. I mean, he is quite a unique kind of heavyweight. Usyk is exactly the same. Different dimensions of course, but exactly the same in the fact that there is no other heavyweight like him. I mean, Michael Hunter does come close, probably has a reach advantage over Oleksandr Usyk, but still, Usyk is the only heavyweight like that. There are a few similar, and those sparring partners will be brought in, but nowhere near the level that Usyk is at, elite level. That is why preparation is key as he gears up for this one. And there can be no talk of Tyson Fury, there can be no talk of anything beyond September 25th, because this is the big fight. This is the one that could get him to undisputed if he is to win. But that one aside at the moment, this is a big fight in of itself. That is why the work, the prep that is going into this is seeing them cut no corners, and they cannot afford to. Usyk is an undefeated, former undisputed cruiserweight champion. Yes, he hasn't set the world alight at heavyweight, granted. He has struggled in the Chisora fight, didn't look highly impressive in the Chaz Witherspoon fight, but you can see how he needed those fights to get accustomed to heavyweight. Now I know that those two are completely different opponents to what he will be facing on September 25th in Anthony Joshua, but he needed those two fights to gauge the size, the weight, the power that these heavyweights bring. And he managed to do that in the Chisora fight, more so than the Chaz Witherspoon fight, because Chisora probably had more in his locker and gave Usyk more to think about. He was on him, and he did give Usyk a really good fight. It wasn't easy for Usyk in there, and we have seen Usyk make a few adjustments since that fight, like maybe putting on a little bit of size. So that fight did probably tell him a few things he needed to know. Going straight from cruiserweight up to heavyweight and facing someone like Anthony Joshua would be a tall order for Usyk if he'd done it straight away, but he does have a slight advantage because he's had those two fights to get ready. Not an advantage over AJ, but an advantage compared to what he would have had if he jumped straight from cruiser straight to heavyweight, going in with the unified heavyweight champion. I think we could be looking at a very entertaining fight here, because I think that to start with it might be cagey. To start with, you can imagine them kind of trying to feel each other out, because regardless of what they both say, they haven't really faced a fighter like that before. So it will be cagey early on, but after rounds 1 and 2 go by, you can imagine things will start to catch fire, and when they do, I mean, who knows what is going to happen? I mean, AJ, you would expect, will look to find a home for his jab and build off of that, use his physical advantages and the boxing ability that he has, the ring IQ, and Usyk will be looking to move, looking to make it difficult for AJ to land that jab because he isn't going to be wanting to take too many of those, and he will want to find a way to negate that jab as well, to not allow it to have the success that it has done in the past, because AJ does have a good jab and he is able to control his opponents when he gets it flowing. I mean, look at the Ruiz rematch. Usyk won't want that to happen to him. He does have the footwork, that was something that Ruiz did not have, so that will make things a little bit more difficult for AJ. There is a way in which AJ can navigate Usyk, especially with his fancy footwork, and I think that Teofimo Lopez demonstrated it perfectly when he fought Lomachenko. What he done was, when Lomachenko came around, is Teofimo Lopez stepped around with him. Now I know that this is heavyweights, and two completely different fight as well. Usyk isn't completely different to Lomachenko, his father will be in the corner, and they do have a similar kind of style, albeit at completely different weight classes, but you saw how Teofimo Lopez was stepping around with him, and he was breaking him down, making it simple for himself in the boxing ring, not just being overwhelmed by how good Lomachenko was, like previous opponents have done. I think AJ will approach it in a similar kind of mindset to break things down, make it simple for himself, one thing at a time, because otherwise it can seem like Usyk is a genius or Lomachenko is a genius and therefore very difficult to navigate in the boxing ring and anticipate what they are going to do next. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Rob McCracken is linking back up with Anthony Joshua and says AJ is on track. They still have 7 weeks to prepare for this Usyk fight, and they are in a good place. Anyway, drop your thoughts on that in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.